There we go. Okay.
I disconnected the recording.
You did. I saw when it happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I
Any
see it, Joanne. You're right. It's up in the left. I see it.
yep. Any questions or comments at the moment? Okay. So I'd like you to start by doing a short flow of heaven and earth, 6 repetitions, and that will give us time to look at what I want to do with the meditation today. Okay? So if you'll stand. And just take a moment to allow yourself to settle into your basic structure. And allow your breathing to slow and lengthen as much as possible. And just open your awareness to allowing your hands and feet to open and close together. Just see if you can establish that rhythm. And then begin a flow of heaven and earth. Good. So you can sit. Oh, good. That looks like progress in both cases. uh, One thing I would say, Carol, is to keep remembering about bringing the elbows into the sidelines of the body when you can. So when the arms are coming up in one, while they continue extending and twisting, the elbows do come in as soon as they can. And the other thing I noticed was that when you go into 3, after you have completed 2, the first movement of 3 is to bring the elbows in and then pull over the top of the head. You're coming right over the top. Okay? And Joanne, the only thing that I saw for you is remembering that in 3, you are continuing to sink all the way through this movement. And then you start to rise as you go into 4. So, any thoughts or questions for either of you at the moment?
No, David, I recognized it as soon as you said it, because I was not attentive to those. To be honest with you, I was so concentrated on opening and closing for each of them that I kind of lost track of my proper body alignment. But thank you for the reminders. I will definitely incorporate that in my practice this week.
That's great. You're doing just fine. I'm assuming nothing for you, Joanne. So, going into, I wanted to talk more about dissolving and begin to get us moving towards that today. So you'll never solve a problem if you can't recognize it. And so the solution in terms of Taoist meditation is to have the ability to first put your mind on the blockage and then keep it there and keep moving toward it, having the willingness, I am willing for this blockage to completely release, but not to want it. In our practice, we don't want to exert control. So when you get your mind to finally be on the blockage, you have to keep your mind with the blockage no matter where it goes. But all of a sudden, a new blockage may seem to appear because everything behind your original blockage can go anywhere. There is another energy behind the original blockage. What are you doing? Your mind is on the blockage and you're trying to release the blockage. But the stuff behind is going to keep on coming into that blockage. It's all that has happened to you, the millions of pictures and the millions of stresses of mind, everything that has happened to you that is energetically connected to that blockage. Because all of these are connected somewhere to a root, which is where this is coming from. So you have to keep part of your awareness not on this blockage. You have to have a sense of your awareness on the energy that's behind the blockage. And that is so that when you release the first blockage, your mind is still on the same thing. It hasn't gone anywhere or wandered away. This is a very, very critical point, because this is the reason when people miss this point, that they sit and spend 20 hours trying to do something that never should have taken them more than perhaps an hour. You have to simply recognize that as you are starting to dissolve a blockage, you have to kind of feel what's behind it. Because as soon as the first one goes, whatever's behind it is going to be there. But it is very likely going to seem like something different. The solution to this is to keep focusing on the energy behind it, and it will disappear. You will dissolve it, and then you will continue to what's beneath and behind it. So, in order to have this ability to stay connected, you have to be able to recognize the energy that's behind what is obviously in front of you. It's not enough just to notice what's in front of you. There is no gap between the first blockage disappearing and the one behind it appearing. The Taoists call it behind for a very simple reason, because the experience is in your mind. Everyone always starts off with, I'm here and it's out there. And that's what the behind is about. In truth, there is no behind, up, down, left, or right. Those are nothing more than the perceptual mechanisms. So remember, as you release a blockage, you have to stay with it. That's a major point. Not just with the blockage that you are dissolving. You have to always stay focused on what's behind, because as soon as you dissolve the first one, there's another one, and another one, and another one. And actually, whether it's one blockage or it's a million blockages, from the perspective of the person doing it, it's one blockage. It's the blockage being dissolved. You don't really care what it's connected, what its content is. And again, we are back to, would you like to know the reason why you're being tortured, or would you rather just get off the table and have it resolved? Does it really matter what the reason was? So the first stage is outer dissolving, and it is especially good if you have very negative emotions, since they can cause a response of tightening in the body. The churning and the spikes of energy are coming from the energy of your internal organs. Calm down the energy of your internal organs, and you cut off the triggers. Outer dissolving is based upon a simple methodology. The Chinese call it ice to water water to gas. Now, ice to water describes the situation when you are tense. Ice is hard, it's tense, it's all cold. Keep in mind that when people are really angry, their energy goes cold. When emotions go cold, when thoughts go cold, that's when humans do the really nasty stuff. So the ice to water part is about going from ice, which is hard, to water, which is soft or relaxed. The way of looking at water in this metaphor is that literally it's relaxed ice. And ice to water is something that every form of Qigong, every form of meditation is always looking to have happen. Just to get them more relaxed. Now, the water to gas principle is much more subtle. Its goal is not to make things better, but to actually resolve the situation. Because if the change goes to water, changing conditions can turn the water back to ice. But when ice turns into a gas, it's gone. It's not going to turn back into water. It just goes off somewhere. Now, outer dissolving is used in the beginning primarily for physical reasons. That's the reason why people focus on something very personal. You have a body. Your body has injuries, lack of sleep, physical pain due to stress or mental conditions. Later on, we will look at emotional needs and dissolving. Outer dissolving is about taking what blocked inside you and releasing it until the chi flows. Because of that, its greatest effect is on the body. Now, inner dissolving's real value is going to the deeper stuff that's in you, that's at the root of the human condition, and releasing it until the chi flows. These are things that are at the root of the spiritual process. So, what you want to do, I'm sorry, I changed my plan for that. What if you can't feel your energy? Then the next thing I'm going to tell you can be very helpful. Many people can't, especially as you get into the more subtle energies inside you. And so this may help. The Taoists found there were 4 conditions that if you feel them in any way, shape, or form, then you have a blockage. They are strength, tension, something that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is, and any form of contraction. Now, obviously, they're different. We all say that strength is a great thing, but strength is a kind of I'm sorry, but stubbornness is a kind of strength that's not necessarily a good thing. And we all know what tension is: two things fighting with each other for dominance. And a lot of what happens to people is very deep inside them, and they know something's wrong, but they don't know what it is. And it gets even more aggravating, especially when you don't know what it is, but you know it's there. And the last one, contraction, one way of looking at the entire spiritual process is that when the contraction is gone and everything opens, the mind is open to all and everything. And to any degree it's not open to all and everything, the mind contracts. Like one way among many of looking at, this is one way of looking at contraction. So what we're going to do now is focused equally on the sense of physical, emotional, or mental energy. It doesn't really matter which one you do focus on. So let's sit. We are sitting. And let me guide you through beginning to work with this as a introduction to this process. So close your eyes. Make sure that your back is straight and the feet flat on the floor. Let your breathing slow and lengthen. And then take your awareness to the crown of your head, the very top of your head. And just feel down the front of your head. Do you feel anything that might be a blockage? And then feel down the sides of your head. Do you have any sense of a blockage there? And how about the back? And don't feel that you have to be right about what you're feeling. Just have to get some general idea. So go through that sequence again for a few moments. Remembering it's important to actually be able to feel these things. Feeling is a funny word. You don't want to just see pictures. That's not necessarily feeling. You want to know how this interfaces with your body. You want to actually feel what's going on inside of you. The Taoists found that as long as you have a body, it's helpful to be able to feel. You can see and hear, that's fine. But also you need to feel sensations inside your body. And they're going on 24 hours a day. When you feel happy, when you feel good, your body feels happy, and your body feels good. And now focus on one condition at a time. Focus on recognizing strength. So physically, does anything inside your body not just feel completely comfortable and relaxed? Do you feel as though you were putting strength into it in any way? Because you have no need to put strength into anything. If you are just sitting quietly, now, energetically, what is strength? Strength is usually a sensation in Chinese medicine of what they call excess. Something is pumped up. Emotionally, stubbornness, wanting to be right. These are all forms of energetic strength. Someone thinks they're right, and they're secure in that, so they feel strong. But when you're sitting by yourself and there is no reason to feel strength, and it's just inside you, then that means you are conditioned somehow. You are blocked. And what is a sense of internal strength? What does it feel like? When your head has to somehow just push to do something. What is your sense of internal strength? And now let's look at physically what is tension. We all know what physical tension is. Blood vessels twitching, muscles twitching, this sense of hardness inside the system. At one level, you could just say that relaxation is somewhat the opposite of tension, or that tension is the opposite of relaxation. So what is it in your body? And what is energetic tension? If you can feel the more subtle energies in your body, do they feel loose and easy? Or is something fighting them? Is something spasming? Are they not running smoothly? But like start, stop, start. All of this can be tension. Now emotionally, what does an emotional tension do? When someone gets depressed, that's a yin form of emotional tension. When someone gets really angry, that's a yang form of emotional tension. But what is tension when it comes into your emotions? You know what tension feels like in your neck because it hurts. But how do your emotions feel when they get tense? Very often emotions get tense before they explode. And when they explode outward, becoming angry, greedy, or frustrated, or inward, when you feel tremendous depression or loneliness or worthlessness. These are the same tension, just coming out in other ways. And what is mental tension for you? How do you recognize mental tension? How do you know if it's light or heavy? How do you know if it's reducing or getting stronger? So focus on it, going from the top of your head down. Now the third one's very tricky. You want to focus on recognizing something that doesn't feel quite right, especially if you don't know what it is. That nagging something that you can't define, that you can't put a word on it. But something's not right. Something is not the way it should be. Now, how does this physically feel? People's bodies will feel this way just before they get sick. But before they show the first symptom. What do you energetically feel? What does your energy feel like inside your body when something's not right, but you don't know what it is? Maybe it means you're about to get weaker. Maybe it means you're about to get anxious. And maybe it means that your central nervous system is about to start going weird. What is something when you don't know what is good energetically? Anyone who's had a head trauma and buried those traumas, or anyone who's been an addict and has denied being an addict, they get feelings of something's not right, but they don't know what it is. Yes, things are there, but they don't know what. What they do get is that something is really stuck and is really uncool. And then mentally, how do you know if something is not quite right? How do you know you shouldn't do this thing? You shouldn't write that. You shouldn't do this economic activity. You shouldn't make this decision. Something is just not right. And this is very important in terms of humans making decisions. You often feel something's not right about some decision they have to make, and they don't know what it is until they find out later. Or maybe it takes them a few minutes to realize. This is a creative process, because what's inside of you is what's inside of you, and what you're trying to do is to find out what's there. Scanning the body and the ability to actually recognize what's in different parts of your body is very, very important. And basic sitting meditation will teach you to do that. Now, when you get a point or center in your body to start energetically waking up, is it waking up smoothly? Or is there physical tension or contraction? And what about your emotions? What are your emotions doing when you fire up that energy? Many people think it's just a matter of making energy in your body stronger. And very often people do that just before they go completely mad, psychotic, or melt down. People make their energy get stronger and stronger, and then they can collapse. in complete depression because they do not recognize the direction it is taking them. If you can recognize what is happening as it happens, you can deal with it as it happens, and you can achieve a faster resolution. Recognizing if your internal energies are being activated or your emotional energies are being activated is the same process as recognizing these four conditions. And it is exactly the same in outer and inner dissolving. Not what you do with it. But at least the first ability to recognize if you are blocked. So you're just trying to recognize if you can feel something is blocking you. Maybe one of the four conditions. But it doesn't have to be one of them. But you are beginning the process of looking for what that condition is like. Is it just physical or energetic or emotional or mental? Or is it a combination of all of them? Because very often we focus on one of the four and we forget the other three. Or we focus on two and we forget the other two. It's important just to begin the process of recognizing how all these things are happening inside you. Because you are one whole human being, not a series of separate parts stuck together like Lego blocks. One complete integrated process. And it is good to recognize the parts which comprise the integration. And whenever you're ready, we can begin to close. sending all benefit gained from this practice out to help all the sentient creatures of the universe. So any questions or comments? So play with recognizing the four conditions this week.
There's a lot to play with, David. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's only the beginning.
Oh, thank you. Have a good week, and I hope you feel better, David.
Thank
Yeah.
you. You too.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Joanne.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
See you
Carol.
next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Joanne.